Welcome back to The Daily Edge, where we ask entrepreneurs, executives, athletes, and high performers how they find their edge. Today's guest is serial entrepreneur Adam Nadler. We get a gritty entrepreneurial story that goes from pumping gas to revolutionizing healthcare and delivers takeaways around getting in the right rooms, finding the right mentors, and always staying curious. As always, I'm your host, Marc Nudelberg.
Let's find our edge.
Let's find our edge. That starts with our affirmation. My health is my wealth. It starts in my mind, it moves to my body, and it allows me to do all the things I need to do to be successful. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Glad to have you here. So let's start with, you weren't born to be an entrepreneur, but you became an entrepreneur. Talk to us how that happened.
Oh man, how far back you want me to go?
Right. Well, so let's out of school. What do you do, and how'd you end up starting your own business?
So I went to Emory University in Atlanta. My whole life, I thought I was going to be a doctor. Right? Family growing up, my dad worked at a gas station. My grandfather owned a gas station in New York, so my dad was a tow truck driver for him. But got in a car accident when I was 8. Wow. Had to move down to Florida. I really almost died. Broke his hip. Came down here. Got a job as a manager at a gas station in Coral Springs. Every summer I would go up to New York in Astoria, and I'd work at my grandfather's gas station, changing tires, full service gas pumping, washing windows for like $1.
Yeah.
And I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning. You know, my grandfather would pay me $20 for the day. I'd work till 6:30 at night, and I was like 13 to 14 years old. I didn't go to camp. That was my job.
Learn the value of $1.
Yeah, right. Got a full scholarship to Emory.
Wow. That's impressive, by the way.
Thanks.
It's very impressive. Yeah. I don't know, people who don't follow academics or maybe don't understand, that's very impressive. So you must have been...
I'm pretty good in school, didn't have to try that hard.
Okay. Came to you naturally?
A little bit, yeah. Worked at the gas station growing up. I was also really big into martial arts when I was 15 to 19, right. 20, and still now I train. So that discipline taught me a lot, and then watching my dad work, because that wasn't his only full-time job. He, cleaned hair salons. He, was a delivery driver back in the day. So he had 3 or 4 jobs. So my work ethic definitely got from my father.
Okay.
And I also knew that I wanted to do something and be really successful. And then back in the 90s, it's all right, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Right?
Sure.
Parents ingrained in you, hey,
that's the way to
you're
become
going to
rich.
School, you're going to be a doctor. You're a doctor. Jewish families. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll be a doctor, man. Went to Emory. I'm like, I didn't even know what to major in because no one gave me the direction. Majored in sociology of all things because I really kind of like the study of people.
Sure.
But now looking back, I was in a work study job. I worked at I built the sets in the plays.
Oh, really?
So inside Emory they had a theater.
Yeah.
I needed a job. So I started building the sets.
Wow.
That was my first job in college. Got that as a work study job. Took all the regular classes like bio and chem. Okay, going to be a doctor. Freshman year, I started a Emory kickboxing club. And
you started the kickboxing club, but you had already been training in martial arts from being young.
Yeah, from high school.
And then there was just nothing there for you at Emory for it?
There was a room, there was a heavy bag, and I'm like, you know what? I think I could actually start a class. I got close with the rec director at the school. I'm like, listen, could I start a club? Yeah, but you can only make, you can't really, the school takes all the money.
Right. You can't make any money on it.
I got to figure out how I'm going to make money at this. So I had T-shirts printed, and I started, and I would charge $25 a pop for the T-shirts, and I think I couldn't charge more than $25 a semester for class, but I ended up killing it.
Wow.
I had hundreds of students.
That's very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, looking back now, it's okay, that was my first That's
your first business.
Yeah, first business there. And it was I loved it, right? Mm-hmm. My fraternity brothers, once I pledged, I started doing it with them. So they actually continued that tradition for 2 more years after I was gone. But we had a ton of students every semester. It was a good way to bring in revenue at that point in time, right? That was one way. So I had a couple of jobs there, and then had to take my MCAT. Which is a test to get into med school. Took it my junior year, didn't score that high on it. Took it again.
Is that the first time you ever didn't score high on a test?
Yeah, my test taking, I did good on my SATs, but test taking, that MCAT was really hard.
Sure.
Took a class, did okay, didn't get high enough. Took it again, not high enough again. So you have to take it your junior year. So I had So like you take it your junior year and then you apply to med school your senior year.
Yeah.
So I had to take it again my senior year with my college roommate and my fraternity brother who was a year younger than me. Studied. I finally got a good enough grade on it to apply to school and get in. But I had a year off.
Oh.
So I get home.
Opportunity.
Yeah, right? I thought it was devastation. Right?
Thought it was devastation and became opportunity. I love that.
So I get home from college. I'm like, I don't have a car. I had already been with my girlfriend at the time, who was my ex-wife now. I was living with her, moved in with her, didn't know what to do. And I had to apply to med schools, and then for med schools you get an interview. So let's say this was May of 99. I had no job, I had no car. I would wait on the side of the road. My mom had worked at a brokerage firm, and she would pick me up. She's like, listen, there's a call center inside the brokerage firm. Do you want to call and invite people over to these luncheons to do estate planning? I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Started banging out the phones when the little Post-its with the person's phone number was on it, and the guy who ran the call center, it was like 4 of us, and I was next to the owner. The owner brought in his landscaping guy, and the landscaping guy next to me is like, Ron told me to get my Series 6 and I could get my license and I could become a broker. I'm like,
this is like boiler room stuff.
That's like close by, you know. And it was like, and it was over in Tamarack, and I'm like, you know what? These guys are making money. Like, I could take this test. So I studied, took the test, passed it, and at the same time I was interviewing for med school. Got into med school, but I had a year to kind of figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So it was at the end of '99. There was money was there in the market.
Sure.
So moving money around and trading mutual funds and selling annuities for people, I was making a ton of money at 22 years old. And I ended up becoming the compliance officer of that firm.
Wow.
I got into med school. And
22, you're the compliance officer?
23. I'll say 23. So the owner of the firm couldn't pass the Series 7, and I passed the Series 7, and then he wanted to switch securities firms, but they needed a principal, a compliance officer. He's like, I can't pass a test. Do you want to be that guy?
Wow.
So I had this opportunity, but he didn't want to pay me. And the second guy in charge, his name was Mark Bryman. He said, hey, called me kid. He knew my mom from growing up in the Bronx, and he's like, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to mentor you and show you how to make a lot of money. And I would go on appointments with him. So I went from call center kid. I was teaching kickboxing over at like 24 Hour Fitness and in Woodfield Country Club.
Wow.
And I was teaching the MCATs for Princeton Review.
Wow.
So after all that, I had like 3 jobs. And I'm like, okay, I'll wait it out, and I could probably make enough money to pay for med school. But I realized, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be around blood, don't want to be in a hospital.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's just like that was a means to an end for my parents. And
was it hard to tell your parents,
dude,
like, I'm not going to med school? Like, I'm making too much money? Like,
my grandparents were devastated. They just wanted a grandson that was a doctor. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to...
black sheep?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, no.
Dude, that's another story. We'll do another interview, but truth.
Wow.
And I'm like, listen, I'm going to take a year. I convinced the dean of admissions to defer my admission.
Oh, wow.
For a year. And
sold them.
And I did. And I'm like, after that, I was doing really well. And the guy, Mark, that took me under his wing, he's like, listen, kid, we were trading stocks. He's like, I'm telling you right now, I have a connection to somebody who owns a trading company, a trading firm down here in Boca, New York. If I take you there, I know that you're never going to work with me again. But I know that you love doing what you're doing. So he took me to this place called Schoenfeld Securities, owned by Steven Schoenfeld, who happened to be an Emory graduate.
Wow.
Him and the president. And he's like the godfather of day trading.
Okay.
He's like a multi-billionaire now, but he gave people money, his own money to trade with. Wow. So I had an opportunity. I got a job. I got hired as like a 50-person training class in Boca, and it was a really tough run. But I had all the money that I saved up from working to say, like, I don't have to worry about work. I could really utilize this as like I'm going to school, and like had this intense training program for trading, and it was like 50 other kids my age, and I was like the last of 3 standing after a year or 2.
Wow.
Year and a half.
What made that training intense? Like what made it hard?
I think part of it was a lot of people thought it was going to be easy. They said you're not going to make any money for a year and a half, and most of you aren't going to be there. But learning the system, understanding how to make money, not having to stress about living, I think was a big part of it. So for me, I had a bunch of savings put away, and that was like, a safety net that I didn't have to worry about. Okay, I got to go get another job. Right. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we, I just worried about trading, work, looking at charts, really immersing myself in everything. Right.
So you really dove into it deep, and you were able to, while everybody else was battling other outside noises and challenges. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the cool part is that at the time, the trading rooms were split up by how well you did. So all the senior traders, they were like private rooms, and you couldn't get access to any of the bigger traders. But these guys were making millions of dollars a year. And I was fortunate enough to meet a senior guy who was kind of like in the middle, who took me under his wing there. Yeah. And he brought me into his room. So instead of trading around newbies,
I got put in a room. The vets.
I got put in a room with vets. And then it propelled me to sit next to these guys.
Why do you think that guy did that?
He was super nice. His name was Dave. Yeah. Super nice. I became really close with him. We were played softball together. He just was like a big brother to me. I don't exactly know how we became so close.
Wow.
But we did, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. And he ended up leaving the business after a while. But then I met another trader that his name was Alex, he was a Russian guy. And every day after work, I'd stay at work from 4 to 5:30, and he would trade. And I'd go, and he was in the major big player room, and there was not a seat in that room. And I'm like, Alex, I just want to sit and watch you trade after work and watch what you're doing, because you were one of the biggest traders I know. And he called me the kid, and he's like, come on, kid, come inside. And the guy next to him, after 8 months or a year, got fired. Yeah. And he's like, kid, you're going to come sit in the room and trade next to me. And that was a big change for me, sitting in a room with guys that were trading millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And I did that for a really long time. That was back in I started in 01.
Yeah.
03, 04. I got married in 04. Met Alex and got traded in the room with these guys. Got recruited to go to E-Trade. And then went back to Schoenfeld again. But that was a huge opportunity where these guys that didn't know me well enough, but putting the work in and getting around the right people in the right room gave me that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to. And I opened up the CrossFit gym. Sorry, I'm jumping all over.
I was gonna say. So you were trading when you opened up the gym.
So I was trading, but I still loved fitness.
Right. So fitness, because I'll include martial arts and fitness. That's kind of always been your entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah.
You started the kickboxing class, and then what made you start a CrossFit gym?
So I'm in. I started lifting again with some friends of mine at my trading firm.
Okay.
I would go to a private trainer, and it kind of works back into the story. But then I wanted to get back into martial arts. So I went back to do martial arts again. And one of the guys in there was a Carl Springs police officer who's now the sheriff of Broward County.
Oh, wow.
So Greg Toney.
Yeah.
We became friendly, and he's like, hey, man. He was coming around the same gym I was training at. He's like, dude, if you like MMA, and you'll love this crazy shit called CrossFit. He's like, there's this little tiny warehouse in Coconut Creek. He's like, you don't even know it's there. You got to go check it out. And it was on my way home from work. I went there one day, and I didn't know it's a group. Back then, this was 2008. There was maybe a couple hundred CrossFit gyms in the country.
Right.
And I went in there, and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, I got to figure out a way to I think there's an opportunity here. I don't know what it is, but there wasn't a lot of affiliates. And I met with the owners. I became close with the owners. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, you're in Coconut Creek. I have a place in Coral Springs that I think I could test this out in. Mm-hmm. And we can become the first CrossFit in Coral Springs. So I put up the money, and I partnered with them and I opened up my first gym.
Wow.
In 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. 2009.
And you still run gyms.
So I opened that gym. Yeah. And then they came to me and said, listen, we want to expand our brand and expand our gym. Can you put the money up and be partners with us in the Boca location?
Wow.
So we vetted a location off of Clintmore, opened up that second location. And then I moved my gym out of the MMA gym that I was at and opened up my location that I still have now. And I've been there for 13 years. So I've built out 3 gyms. I kind of sold off my ownership part of the Boca location to say, listen, I only want 100% of my gym. We parted ways as partners, and I still have that place.
Amicable, all good.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, we just different views. I thought they could have done better with the brand, but I felt like I wanted to kind of have my own culture or brand there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fine. And then I migrated, and when I built the gym out, I was still trading. So I had the gym, I had coaches, and I built a little room out in that.
So you could do trading in the gym.
I built a bathroom and a gym there. So for like 9 hours a day,
oh man,
I'd train in the morning, I'd jump in the shower, and I'd start trading. I'd train, shower, trade, and I was in that room. It's the size of this. It's probably the size of this room, if not smaller, with a bathroom in there. Wow. And I traded in there for several years.
What got you out of trading?
So it got harder and harder as I got older.
Yeah.
And
because of the hours, or because
just like the mental strain it took.
Okay.
Like going in and trading and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars one day, making a lot of money another day. But I think more at the end of the year, and I think it was like this aha moment with my son, because he would come to me at the gym. He's 20 now.
Okay.
And looking at him, and I'd go to trade, and every day I'm like, I go to work, I provide a good life for my family. But I had this thing inside of me. I was like, I'm not building anything that is like that I could show him. And I always say like this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like I have the gym, but the gym's not like an enterprise or a business, right? You're limited by where you could open, what you could do. And I just started getting this itch, and the gym was just like the first venture I had into understanding operating agreements. I had a mentor who lived in Broken Sound, actually, who taught me how to like structure a deal with a partner. Mm-hmm. And so then back to one of my trainers at my original like private gym that I was going to with one of my buddies at my trading firm, Phil. We had this a trainer there. I trained with her every day for a couple of years before my CrossFit years, and we became extremely close. And she got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Wow. So this was around 2014, 2015. I've been training for 14 years, and I'm exhausted. I had traded a couple different firms, and I traded my own money, and another guy backed me, and we split the money when I was trading out of the gym. And like at the end of the year, Mark, every single December, it was like, okay, January comes around, I have nothing.
Yeah, I got to start over.
Starting over. And like, I'm not building equity in anything.
Yep.
You know, I'm putting money away, but like I have nothing that like if I worked for something for 15 years, I'd have a business and I could sell it, right? Yep. If I was good, if I had something.
Sure.
And that really bugged me. And when she got diagnosed with MS, I went to Phil, who trained with her and worked at my trading firm, and we were close, and said, listen, and he trained with Annette, and Annette's like, I can't afford my medication. Can you guys figure out a way to help me? And her medication was called Copaxone, and she had Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida. It was $8,000 a month. They wouldn't cover her meds.
Wow.
So we said, how can we help? We ran a fundraiser. We donated some money. Then I started researching how could we actually get her meds, and there was these programs called prescription assistance programs. And if you fill out the paperwork perfectly to the manufacturer, which is impossible,
right,
they'll give you the medication free for a year.
Wow. And
she tried that and failed, and I did it for her, and I got her meds.
Wow.
And then I went to Phil. I'm like, this is where there's an opportunity. So started this company, did it for thousands and thousands of people, and then kind of parlayed that business into the business that we're at now. But it was really something that was close to home, where I felt I could help people. I can help somebody that I know. And then now, it turned into we're helping strangers all over the country.
There's two principles that I kind of want to hit on that it seems like are like just like through lines through your life and your success. One is you get close to people, right? Like all these mentors and all these people that have sort of steered your life or like kind of moved you in a direction or opened up opportunities. You're like, we got close. Are you an open person? Do you get close to a lot of people and then cut them off? Or like, what do you think was special about those relationships and how did they happen?
Yeah, it was just organic, but you're right. I've kind of had this knack of like navigating to the right. Like if I see somebody that's successful, I wanted to be around that person in whatever way that I could absorb that. What do I need to do? Do I need to sit here and get you, like for Alex, I would get him snacks for He's like, kid, I'm hungry. Go to the vending machine. No problem. You know, for Mark, I would pick up his car or take him places. And it was just like,
you created value for yourself with them, which then allowed them to give you to get the value from them that you wanted, which resonates with me so deeply. Like that's how I started my college football coaching career.
Okay.
Like I literally would just sit in the office and be like, oh, you need a copy made? I'll go make the copy. Oh, I see you like your coffee made that way. I can make it for you that way. Like, oh, I see you like to eat the snack. Here, I'm just going to have it ready for you on your desk.
It goes a long way.
Oh, you need that every day. Like that ability to figure out ways to provide value and then you can get value in return. That's amazing. So I love that. And then it also feels like you've been able to turn your passions or turn things that are important to you into the things that create revenue streams for you and into the things that drive money. How do you think that's happened? Like where does that come from?
Well, I like connecting the dots.
Okay.
You know, so that first business, what we did prescription assistance, like we ended up pivoting because there wasn't a lot of the margins weren't good in it, and a lot of people that we were working with couldn't afford even the $50 a month to run the program, right?
Got it.
But when we recognized this technology in the marketplace, so now like our business has really grown from diabetes. So the people that were calling our call center were patients that needed medication, needed insulin, and they couldn't afford it.
Yep.
We parlayed our call center into providing these devices now that could read your glucose by putting it on the back of your arm. You know, once again, I cold called Abbott Labs, filled out a form online, and got them to give me this contract.
Yeah.
And you know, everything that we've tried a bunch of different things. This just happened to be like the right timing at the right time. And, you know, I always say it's like persistence, resilience.
Well, so it's easy to listen to this 20-minute podcast with you and be like, wow, this guy just continues to be successful. And like, wow, right? So I know there are some failures along the way. I know you've probably dealt with lots of failures. What's one of your bigger failures that sticks out in your mind?
When we first started in the medical supply business, we had a regulatory change overnight. And so we were going from $10 million in revenue. One day we woke up and we got zero. And we had
$10 million to zero?
Yeah. Wow. And so that was back in like 2018, 2019.
Wow.
That hurt.
Right.
You know, like what hurt is like understanding that you have people that are working for you, and now you have to go into work one day and figure out a way that we could slow down enough to keep these people on payroll and then to pivot our products, right? Like we had this engine, but we had people that we had to decide on a whiteboard, how many people could we afford to keep on payroll for how long? And the partners, myself and my partners, you know, we were putting money in the business. And that was like one of the first times where when I was trading, I didn't have to worry about people. It was myself. You know, I didn't worry about what had to happen to others. It was just like, hey, you got to go to work and make or lose money, and that's your responsibility. Walking into a place where you have, at the time, we probably had 50 employees, 60 employees, and then it's like a gut punch, just like, okay, well, how much money do we have in the bank? Am I okay, right? What can we do to make sure that we can try to, like, first of all, I need to survive. I'm not at this point, I'm not even trading anymore. I left trading, right? I completely retired from that.
Sure.
I'm going in full time into healthcare.
Yep.
And I'm like, did I make a mistake? Do I need to go back to trading? How are we going to survive? And then luckily, you know, we did let go of some people, kept a core group of people, and then figured out a way that we could reinvent ourselves. So that was probably the hardest thing outside of like what happened like during COVID initially, but it wasn't as you know.
You talked about martial arts and you talked about consistent training. Does that develop a kind of discipline in your brain that allows you to do that, or where does that resilience come from for you?
It could possibly be that. I think I've always been really self-driven, like internally, like to just always want to, almost to a point where it's like almost can make me physically ill.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
It's like it's never enough. Like trading was never enough. You made X, you wanted to make X plus Y, X again, right?
Yep.
But I also think that's the part that makes me who I am, because I'm not going to just lay down and just take no for an answer. I'm not going to, sugarcoat it. I give myself 24 hours. I've cried.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And the rule is 24 hours.
The 24-hour
24
rule
hour
shows
rule,
up,
man.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love that rule. That is our rule.
Oh, okay.
It's 24-hour win or lose, right? Like, biggest deal. We're ringing the bell and celebrating 24 hours to live it. And then, hey, we're back to work. And same thing if we lose. 24 hours to wallow in it and cry and have all the poor me's and everything. And then it's like, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
We're back to work. Either way, we're back to work.
I think that's important, right? So like, and you're not going, it's not going away. So like, how are you going to problem solve this? And what are you going to do? Because you have to continue on. And how could you get better, not even from the situation, but like what opportunity is now around the corner for me? And then fortunately, you know, the glucose monitor business showed up because I was researching that. And then we were able to kind of bridge ourselves to say, okay, this is where we want to go. And at that time, then it was like, okay, I went to my partners. I'm like, I think this is the future of our business.
Yeah.
They supported me. You know, we're like, okay, we're all in. And we took a hard turn into that into mid 2019. So we had like 6 months of figuring things out. And that was probably like the hardest time of like
your entire entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it coincided with like personal stuff too.
Anyway, you happen to get divorced that time, right?
All
Like,
that,
leave that on the podcast for now. Let's do that on another episode. All right, so then the show is obviously called The Daily Edge.
Sure.
Right? And it's obvious that you continuously find that edge. And I know from dealing with lots of high performers and interviewing people like yourself that urge to constantly grow and be better can be exhausting and can be really hard to maintain consistently. How do you find your edge every day? How do you get up every day and continuously do it?
I think training is important for me.
Okay. Physical training.
So I have like two non-negotiable hours of the week where I leave work at 3:30.
Yep.
And I take MMA classes.
Okay.
Right. Tuesday, Thursday, 3:30.
Yep.
The other days I work out after work or on the weekends. Right. Okay. So I think that really gives me a lot of clarity.
Yep.
That's one. So I think physical discipline, that discipline just kind of gets me to reset. And then from the edge of work, what really drives me is like the process of learning and figuring out how things fit together, creating something and then seeing it through, right? So like if I think how we can make something better in our business and like whiteboarding it or like really noodling on it and then saying, okay, you know, coming up with a plan with my team because, you know, it could throw out tons of ideas.
Yeah.
And then looking at it and saying, okay, I know how I want to get to here.
Yeah.
And I want to jump from A to Z.
Yeah.
But let's go back and look at how I can do this. And it's the breakdown of that process that I've grown to really love. You know,
love that.
That part is like, okay, I could do this. I see a path there.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be one foot in front of the other. But then, man, once it's there and like you have something that gets executed, it just feels really good. And then finding those things over and over again, whether it's fine tuning that or then kind of having all these other tentacles that are coming out of like, hey, listen, you started here with this,
seeing where it goes
right?
from there, yeah.
But now we could, all these things could come off of it. Yeah. Which ones do we want to pursue?
I will tell you, number one, thank you for joining the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And I will tell you that like sitting here listening to you, it resonates so clearly your passion for just wanting to grow and get better, like whatever it is, right? Whether it's the business, whether it's yourself personally, where you have, it's so clear to hear that, and your commitment to the process of doing that is admirable, and I appreciate you sharing all of that with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for finding your edge with us. Leave in the comments, leave how you find your edge every day. Now to take us out, look directly into that camera and say, let's find our edge.
Let's find our edge.
Let's go.